nerds, welcome to the Toy Podcast for Schmucks. On this podcast, I talk about sort of what I'm working on with dioramas or with the toy arrangements. I don't know what other collectors call it when they arrange their toys. I call it an arrangement. In this particular case, I'm talking about an older diorama or an older arrangement of my Batman Begins Dark Knight Mattel collection. I tried to create this kind of miniature workspace Batcave, somewhat inspired by the Dark Knight Rises, utilizing the Batman Begins figure. Actually, in particular, this is from the Dark Knight line. These are the 5-inch figures. I really like that scale. When I initially got the Batman Begins figures as a teenager, all I had was Batman and the Tumbler Batmobile. But that's all I needed. I love that Tumbler so much. But also I thought the scale offered you a reasonably sized vehicle. If it had been a 6-inch figure, the Tumbler would be huge. So I really thought, okay, this fits in my room. You know what I mean? I think the 5-inch scale is an underappreciated scale. No innuendo intended. But really, the 5-inch scale, I think it's a great scale for figures, and especially for DC figures they're so much more statuesque anyway. When you get around to figures like McFarlane's 5-inch Walking Dead figures, I think you can have the opportunity to make these posed figures that have some mobility, but most importantly, they create an image. They really create a nice silhouette that looks like the movie, that looks like something out of the universe of that movie. I think that's the wonder of the 5-inch scale. And again, most importantly, when it comes to those vehicles, you get a reasonably sized vehicle. Because once you get down to the 4-inch scale, it's much harder to get good detail on toys. Not that it doesn't happen or can't happen, but you know, you can see it's harder for manufacturers to produce on that level. So when it came to the Mattel Batman Begins figure, I just thought that was so fantastic. I always wanted to make a little diorama for all the Batman figures and all their vehicles. The vehicles are the standout toy, the reason to collect them in the first place. And so I made this little arrangement. I thought it looked fun. I got the villains on one side. There's the Bruce Wayne Ninja figure. And I'd always thought in my head, all the way back to 2005, first seeing these toys, like, man, if I had the money and the time, I would just collect all the Bruce Waynes, keep the ninja stuff on. Because essentially, once the mask is on, he doesn't even look like Bruce Wayne anyway, right? So, and then paint them all black so they look like the movie, so I can actually have Batman fighting or standing off against the League of Shadows, the League of Assassins. So I thought this is a lot of fun. I did some custom painting on the Bruce Wayne figure, which again, this Bruce Wayne figure is technically from the 2008 Mattel line, Bruce Wayne to Ninja. I guess it was a popular toy, so they brought that back. But I did a little custom painting on him, so I need to do another pass, but I wanted his clothes just to look more like clothes. And I did the same thing for the Joker figure and the Harvey Dent figure. Harvey Dent just was, although it looked like Aaron Eckhart, it was such a basic half white, half purple. They really just recreated what they did with the 90s Tommy Lee Jones figure, except with Aaron Eckhart, and I thought that looks bad. So with a little bit of paint, some flesh tones from Hobby Lobby, and a little bit of red, I tried to recreate as best I could the look of Harvey Dent from the 2008 movie, Dark Knight, and tried to again give Joker some texture to his clothes. And Joker and Harvey Dent are one of my first customs. I'm still very new with this whole custom thing. They're a little rough, but I think they do look more like the movie than they did when I first got them. Putting it all together, I have the Liam Neeson Ra's al Ghul with everyone else behind him. And when it came to Ra's al Ghul, the decoy, which was still a great figure, I didn't like the bright red of his cape. I'm like, that doesn't look like the show at all. So I went and painted that too. And you know, it looks a little bit more accurate. It's a little more screen accurate. And with all my little Bruce Wayne's turned ninja, I got to have finally my set. I got to finally have, and I still need one more ninja, because in the movie, when he becomes Batman, he fights 4 of the League of Shadow Ninjas. So I just need one more for that. But essentially, I got my little set going on. I custom painted an Andrea figure from the Walking Dead line to try to make her look like Talia al Ghul from The Dark Knight Rises. Didn't really come off. It still looks like Andrea, but I think, the clothes painting looks okay. And when she's standing next to Liam Neeson, all you think is, well, that doesn't look so much like Liam Neeson, but that looks like a real person next to him. So this was a fun little arrangement to make. I had also custom painted another Dark Knight Batman figure, and it was cool, but it was gray and blue. I didn't really like the paint of it, even though the mold was fantastic. I actually had decided, I bought another tumbler on eBay and I painted that camo style. And so I then decided, oh, well, now that I have this camo tumbler, which is I've always wanted. And the ironic thing is, as soon as I painted this camo tumbler, that's when McFarlane released it. Not only did McFarlane come out with a tumbler that was pretty screen accurate, but they also came out with the camo tumbler with Bane. And I'm like, oh, well, okay. Well, I've already bought this, and you know what? It's a quarter of the price of all that crap anyway. So I'll take it. I'll just take what I got right now. Since I had this camo tumbler, I also decided to make a custom camo Batman to go with it, as if they came together as a set. And I thought, they look pretty cool together. So, I had the original toy purchase, what my mom got me at 14 years old, the tumbler with the Batman in the black suit, which is, they had so many variants. I couldn't believe in 2005. I'm like, they're still making ridiculous amounts of variants. Just give me a Rachel Dawes figure. I don't want 67 different variants of Batman. I'm like, this is so ridiculous. But nonetheless, I started collecting some of those variants as well so that I could get their gear, because I realized I could assemble their gear and kind of make a little workshop. So I have, using some paints, I cut up little pieces of plastic and made them look like little batarangs, and tried to give the detail that, this is Batman making his custom batarangs. And I realized every single one of the variants had some kind of gadget that I could turn into a part of his workshop. Most importantly, there was a silver variant of the Battle Gear Batman, the black suit one that I have, that I'm going to acquire someday, because it's exactly the Nomex survival suit, except he does have the gauntlets and the cape and the mask and everything. And I was like, I have that. I could have the little station where he's painting it black, So that's future goals. I've moved, so the diorama, this little arrangement, all the parts have been reutilized. I reutilized those shelves for this back here, and I'm not upset that I did it. But now I have a kind of new situation to sort of figure out, how am I going to make a fun little setup? Is it going to be a diorama, a full diorama, or is it just going to be another cool arrangement for all my crap? But it's fun. It's fun to world build. It's a fun little hobby. I've always loved toys, and since times have been a little rough, I've just needed something to keep my mind going and to keep me positive. And making dioramas, arrangements, and customizing toys has been a fun little journey. Well, that's what I got to say about this particular arrangement. I hope you like how it looks. And I don't know why I'm doing this. I just feel like I've had the pleasure of meeting some other toy collectors recently, which was so much fun. Having been to some conventions and seeing, wow, there's other people out there who like this stuff. It's really wonderful. And you see, the best thing is, like, we all have a child inside of us. We all have our inner child, the person that we were when we were younger. And it's fun to see other people light up at these things that, when I was growing up, it was not a popular thing to like toys, to be around other people, going to these conventions, and you see people dudes dragging around their girlfriends, or sometimes girlfriends dragging around their dudes. You know what I mean? That's my favorite to see. That's my favorite. I love going to Target, and there's some gorgeous young woman looking at a toy, and her boyfriend's there with her, and she's like, okay, I want to go look at the NECA. And he's like, more toys? That guy, I have to say, is the funniest thing to watch. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I'll look at toys with you. It's, leave your leaner, more athletic looking boyfriend for me. It's so stupid. But anyway, it is nice to see when I go to a convention or something, just to see that there's other people out there with the same passion, the same love, and it's your inner child, it's your inner light, it's that thing about you that, you know, it's not even a guilty pleasure because it's a toy. It's something that's made for fun and innocent fun, and it's something that you can also share with kids. I had a really good relationship with my nephew because he, of course, is a kid and loves toys, and he would love to walk into my room. And the craziest thing is I put my toys up for display. They're not really for fun. They're not for playing most of the time. But he was totally understood it. He understood it as soon as a little 3-year-old, 4-year-old, he understood what I was doing. And when he walked into my room, he was like, wow, you know what I mean? And he understood me without any explanation, you know what I mean? I mean, he's autistic, but he's also very smart. But just he understood what I was doing. And so when I would let him play with a toy, it was very precious to him. And I even gave him a bunch of toys because I just go back and forth with myself on what collections I want to keep. And I told myself not to buy any Star Wars. So he's got a lot of Star Wars toys just because I'm like, well, I was never supposed to collect these, but they're so cool. Mostly from the sequels. But, you know, toys are fun and wonderful. And I just wanted to share a little bit of what I've been doing with them. This is, like I said, this is an older arrangement. I'm literally working on a new arrangement because I've moved and repurposed a lot of stuff, and I'll show you that in another video when I get there. But I hope you liked it. I hope you like looking at this stuff, and hopefully if you're a fellow toy collector who likes to do arrangements or dioramas, hopefully it gives you inspiration to do something fun. And if you've never done it and you've always wanted to do it, well, here's someone who's doing it, and I hope you like it. That's all I got to say for this one. Thanks for watching.